A man was on trial or in some other kind of legal mess for allegedly DVing his ex partner. And in that situation, Megan Good found herself a man.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get it.
I know they say when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, but I don't think that's what they were talking about. If you scroll on TikTok or Instagram, there's a very good chance that you'll find a woman in her home telling the world about her husband, her man, her baby daddy. She's telling the world about how her man Don Dimmadome did her wrong. And just like it is certain that the sun will rise and set, there's always a good Samaritan who feels the need to sprinkle a little wisdom. And they always say something along the lines of, next time, choose better. This video is for me to give my 2 cents on why I think just choose better is BS. The first fundamental reason why I believe just choose better does not work is because men are fake. Not all of them. Not all of them. But most of them are. In fact, most of them have to resort to a form of trickery to get the woman of their dreams. I feel like a lot of men, like one day they look in the mirror and they're honest with themselves for just a minute. And they think in their heads, honestly, if my daughter was going out with someone exactly like me, I'd cry a little. And then I blame it entirely on her mom. I am not great. And that's really sugarcoating it. See, a lot of men know they're not very appealing. It's like the older they get, the more bad decisions they have. And with all of that, the more entitled they seem to become. So a lot of them realize that to get the woman of their dreams, they have to lie like O.J. Simpson's lawyer. They put on a mask. They spend the first few days or weeks listening to you, observing, analyzing you, like a treacherous landlord. Some of them will even analyze your Instagram or TikTok to see exactly what you like in a man, or you don't like. Then they turn on the charm. They turn it on like an effing faucet. They turn into Meryl Streep. They're gonna give you that Oscar-winning performance. They fake having money, having a good job. They fake not having kids. They fake having proper manners. They fake liking how successful you are. They fake liking your friends, and some of them even fake liking your kids. Now, this can take weeks, months, even a year or two. They will stick to that performance. And they do that so they can get you exactly where they want you. Their wife, moving in with them, or getting pregnant. It is only after they have you exactly where they want you, they reveal their true form. They release you from the effing jinjutsu. And they show you the narcissistic, community dick-holding, lazy, cruel, verbally and physically obtrusive, insecure lump of clay you've ever seen in the manifestation of a man. Ah, yes. Vetting, the 1,000% foolproof way to know whether the person you're talking to is A, the partner for you, B, just a plain horrible person. We've all heard it before. Like, you can just vet these men, right? Right? It's so easy. You know, because if God didn't know that Satan was going to become Satan, I don't know what kind of mythical powers you think women possess. You know by his friends. Yeah, because men's friends never look you dead in the eye and say their friend is such a great guy, knowing fully well that they'd have a full-blown heart attack if that same friend ever got with their sister. You can just meet his mom and his family members. Yeah, vetting is usually done in the beginning of the courting stage. I don't really know anyone else besides the Kardashians who are introducing their boyfriend of like a couple weeks to their siblings, half siblings, regarding the whole, oh, you can speak to their family and friends and everything. Are we going to like completely ignore the multiple women who enable the disgusting acts of men? Their mothers, grandmothers, even sisters. Some of these enablers, they already know that he's damaged goods. and now they're just waiting to pawn this man off to some unfortunate person's daughter. Horrible men have an ecosystem, all right? That's how they're able to continue to do the stuff they do. And the members of this ecosystem are the friends who are ready to lie on their behalf about how great they are, and the mothers and other family members who enable their dirty rag antics. I know he physically obtused you, but please forgive him. And I know he gave you 2 STIs and you can only cure one of them, but please forgive him. I know he threatened to off you, but he had a difficult childhood. Are you sure? Really? Because if you were here making excuses for this man, left, right, and center, ever since he was a little boy, I don't know how much of a hard childhood that really was. And sometimes, even when their family members genuinely believe that they are a good guy, the truth is, I think a lot of men can be great brothers, great sons, great friends, but when it comes to a relationship, they just can't make the puzzle pieces fit. I don't really think vetting works, and I think it's a really horrible way of adding salt to the wound to give that as advice to women who have been hurt by men. Because there are men who switch up 6 months into the relationship. There are men who switch up after you have a baby. There are men who switch up after you get married. There are men who switch up 5 years into the relationship. There are men who switch up because of life has kicked their ass. They lost a close friend or family member, or they lost their job or something. Or maybe they've even been diagnosed with something. These are things that can make anybody switch up, honestly. But when I hold the men's hands as I say this to them, if life has kicked you down and you become an unbearable, miserable SOB, the woman in your life is not obligated. You are not entitled to have a supportive partner in your life. Before any triggered men comment and be like, oh, you're just a horrible person. No, what am I gonna do? Men don't know men. A lot of men don't really know how men act in relationships. They only know what their friends will tell them. So, understandably so, a lot of men don't really know how their bros act in romantic settings. And that's probably because their bro isn't trying to get in their pants. Their bro isn't imagining a life with them. Their bro is not envisioning a lifelong marriage with them. So, straight men generally don't know how their brosif acts in an effing romantic context. So it really eludes me. I really don't understand why a lot of straight men feel that they are competent in giving advice to women when they have never, ever dealt with a man in a romantic setting. Also, I think it's kind of painfully obvious that a lot of these men have very low standards for themselves. I think that's the only explanation for why when a woman says, I'm looking for a healthy, reasonably wealthy, hardworking man who is emotionally intelligent and has no kids. These men are a lot of them think so low of themselves that they don't think such a man exists. And that is really not a high bar, but at the same time, it is a high bar to meet, which is insane. But then they'll be like, oh, next time, choose better. How? How? Now, I will say the only exception to the just choose better rule is if the person who is pursuing you is locally, nationally, and sometimes even globally known as a joke, a punchline, if they're ever brought up in a conversation about men who would make great partners, if you let that manipulative SOB whisper in your ear, despite the fact that this person has a clear trail of destruction and terror and everyone around you can see it, if you take it upon yourself to believe that this commonly known first grade a-hole is going to be a Prince Charming for you and for you alone. Like, I get it, okay? I get it. Clearly, Wattpad ruined us. Like, Wattpad warped almost all of our, like, relationships with romance. Those 16-year-old Wattpad writers breathed, ate, and slept. I can change him. Let me tell you a secret, okay? The only reason why the 17-year-old brooding, borderline obtrusive, had severe anger issues, was in a literal gang, had beautiful tattoos and piercing blue eyes. The only reason why he changed for nerdy, quirky little Becky was because it was fiction. The 16-year-old writer wanted him to change for Becky. That's not really how real life works. And like a lot of you need to wake up from the fantasy. Like you literally have to be the pick me of Princess Pick-me's in all the land that ever lived to genuinely believe that this locally known terrible person is going to change just for you. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I don't have any sympathy for you. So yeah, I don't really feel bad for any of Nick Cannon's baby mamas. I don't. Like after the second, third one, you knew what you were getting into. A man was on trial or in some other kind of legal mess for allegedly DVing his ex-partner. And in that situation, Megan Good found herself a man.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get it.
I know they say when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, but I don't think that's what you were talking about. I really need to stop being like everyone else and assume that celebrities have this like advanced level of critical thinking. So I'm not gonna lie, like the first time I saw them together, I thought she was only there for the dick. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think a lot of us thought that as well. And even if she was there only for the dick, it would have still been a horrible situation because again, this is someone who was in a legal mess for allegedly DVing his ex-partner. But then we hear that she's paying for his child support.
Say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you
Cardi B and Offset, yeah, that was definitely a pick-me situation. JLo and Ben Affleck. JLo like specifically knew who Ben was because she had dated this man. And even though she last dated him over 20 years ago, I think, all of Ben's exes don't really have anything good to say about him. Like, let's do the math. One, JLo has access to the internet, so she can see what his exes have said about him, and none of them are good. Two, as a rich A-list celebrity, JLo probably had access to the same circles Ben has access to. So she could get the tea on him. She could get the tea that we as the public will never know because she's in those circles. Three, she also dated this man. With all of that, she said, "That is my husband. That is my husband." Yes, that is, let me, yep. She said, "That is my husband. You cannot tell me anything else." It's dangerous to be a pick me, you know. It's also dangerous to associate with them. Anyway, I will not tell you to like or subscribe or comment. You will do all of that if you want to. But if the spirit moves you, or if my witchcraft just happens to work, I am glad you stayed and I hope to see you again. Bye.